Hello everybody, I'm Norbert Rosero. Tonight I am going to interview to Mr. Santos. He is an English teacher. The interview will be about language and culture. Mr. Santos, good evening.
Good evening, brother.
Thanks for helping me in this assignment. The first question is, what do you think about culture?
Okay, culture is a very big word. When we talk about culture, we need necessarily to talk about the different acts, activities, or behaviors that any group of people can have at any place around the world. So when we talk about culture, we talk about the belief, the traditions, the food, the customs, and of course, a very important aspect that is the language, because it's the way how they can communicate and interact among them at any place around the world.
Okay, thanks very much. The question number 2 is, what is the influence of culture in the process of a foreign language process?
Okay, when a learner is really interested in learning a new language, any language, the culture affects or exerts some influence in that person, because that person opens the mind to new horizons, to new concepts. And when that happens, this person understands better how and why people behave in the way they do at any place around the world as well.
Okay, thanks. Question number 3. How do you involve culture in the strategies do you use in your English classes?
To involve culture in the English classes, you need to have in mind that you need to rank your students. When we talk about culture in front of students, maybe they can think that it is a huge topic and complicated. But when you have children and you make them understand how other little children behave or act at any other place around the world, they can understand, okay, in Canada, in France, in Germany, they behave in this way because this reason or for that reason. So when you have the students according to the grade, you can make that process, but should be step by step, gradually.
Okay, Mr. Santos, what do you consider are the most important elements to success in the second language learning?
Okay, to me, what really affects positively the learning of a new language is the fact of being in contact with that language as much as possible. So we need to understand that every person has weak or strong skills. But as any other person around the world, we have likes and dislikes. So if you are a learner that wants to improve your process of learning a second language, you need to be in contact with that language. So if you are a visual learner, for example, you can use videos and many material about that. If not, maybe you can exploit your skills in writing, or even if you are interested in produce orally speaking when you have the opportunity. But in conclusion, the idea is to be in contact with the English or with the new language that you are learning as much as possible.
Okay, thank you very much. Question number 5. What elements of the culture do you like to teach?
Okay, as well, I think depending on the learners, on the category of the learners. For example, when you teach children, it's funny, is good for them when they talk about the seasons, to say that. If you think in the target language and you analyze the information you are going to transmit them, you think, for example, children and seasons, you talk about clothes, different activities doing or sports doing at every one of those seasons. You are involving the students in that process and they have a better mental picture. But if you have, for example, maybe more advanced students and you talk about the representative monuments, and if your students have a good background of the American culture or any other culture, when you talk about those monuments or representative facts or pieces of history, they would be eager to learn and put them into practice, and they can assimilate better this process of learning.
Okay, Mr. Santos, do you think students like to learn culture throughout the language?
I think most of the time that is what happens, and is the recommendation. Because when you talk about culture alone and language alone, it's like different ways. But when you integrate both, the students can grab efficiently the knowledge, the students can grab efficiently the language and put into practice the culture, and when they learn those pieces of culture during the lessons, during the grammar or vocabulary you are teaching on them, hopefully they will never forget them. And they can see, okay, to talk about culture is not something really complicated for them.
Okay, Mr. Santos, this is all for today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.